Can you believe we've made it through an entire week? We're at day 7. Wow. My, how time flies. And I still have the same jacket on. Oh my goodness. Thanks for laughing with me. My name is Tammy. I am your host and mentor guide with 31 Days of Essential Oils. If this is your first time visiting, then you're here to have some fun because we're having a great time talking about essential oils in ways that are not commonly discussed, meaning they're not found in books and or websites for the most part. I mean, there are some things there are, because oil is an oil. But I'm talking about single notes here because each oil has a very specific means of affecting the system. I do not necessarily recommend just working with a single oil at one time. I prefer to blend. I generally blend 3 or 4 oils at one time, no more than 4. But it's for the synergistic effect. It's for the whole system. And my background is actually in pharmacology as well as aromatherapy. I'm an internationally certified aromatherapist, master clinical aromatherapist. Had to get that all out there. And I've combined that with the pharmacology and study of plant constituents when it comes to the human health and drug development. And so what you're getting here is a lot of that, how I've used them genetically, what particular types of health conditions, and this thing's just evolving. And I am also supporting this with regards to in a blog. And so things that I say here aren't necessarily over there and vice versa. But like I said, welcome if you've been here with me this whole time. I can't tell you how much I appreciate being on this journey with you. And like I was mentioning, though, even though I am talking about the single notes, it is a preference. I strongly advise blending a few of them at a time or using a few at the same time if you don't want to make a blend per se for the overall systemic effect, because a lot of them have very specific a lot of them can be very specific in their mechanism of action, not unlike a medication. And when we're consistently doing the same thing, let's just say, for instance, let's say you have menstrual cramps, and so you're trying to use something to relieve the menstrual cramps. If you just keep choosing the same ones, or the ones that have the same properties, you've kind of like created this imbalance. I don't believe the body necessarily is out of balance. It's just unstable. But I think you get what I'm saying is like if there's too much happening over here and not enough happening over here, and learning how to blend in a way that counterbalances. It just kind of provides that stability, which is what the body's really asking for. That's the reason why we have so many health issues. The body is asking for stability. It's doing everything it can to keep us alive. It's just needing us to step in and provide that foundation for it to rest, is how I want to say that. So today I'm talking about Marjoram Spanish. Sometimes people call it Spanish marjoram. It's not marjoram. It's actually a thyme. It's a kind of a thyme. It's not the same thing as sweet marjoram. Sweet marjoram is a real marjoram, whereas Spanish marjoram is a thyme. It's the Latin name or the botanical name is Thymus masticina. And I may have said that incorrectly, but the spelling's not. But I love this oil. Oh, have I said that before? Yeah, I pretty much love them all. I am an essential oil junkie, but then I've been living with them for over 30 years, working with them, playing with them. I'm not going to use the word experimenting with them, but really getting to know them and how they impact us, and recognizing their value for helping us to thrive. Like I said, the body's asking for stability, and we're not going to get there at the level, at the way we're practicing right now, meaning just in general. Exercise, good diet, mental, emotional hygiene is essential. Sleep is essential. These things are all very, have profound effects on helping to relieve the stress, but the actual stress level at the cell is what's needing to be, is where it's at and where we need to offset that. And this is where the oils come in. We are impacted daily by the environment. which is compounded, which actually it's like what came first, the egg or the chicken, right? Um, we're being threatened by environmental chemicals all the time, and that alters our chemistry in a necessary way. We may not think it's necessary, but it is for our safety and protection. So therefore, the chemistry is altered. It's not designed to stay that way. It's designed to go back to the more thriving flow, but it's not happening because first and foremost, we're being exposed to chemicals all the time. Secondly, this change in neurochemistry alters the way we think and the way and the way we emote. And so even though human nature is to think about things, try to figure things out, so on. With the changes in the chemistry, it either depresses us or it cranks us up, and so now it's altered even the way we think and feel about stuff. Or I should say, I like to use the word emote. Feelings and emotions are quite different, and I can do an entire video on just that alone. So I'm saying it alters the way we think and emote, and then that we stress ourselves out. And then ultimately, it starts to feed off of one another. So we're not breaking free of this survival mechanism. And so the oils actually help us kind of slide into thriving. And how that is because they are signaling molecules just like medications, just like a number of other lipophilic chemicals they've identified as endocrine disruptors. So all of these chemicals are affecting us. And the oils have the potential to protect us from the man-made chemicals because nature, for some unexplained reason, nobody seems to be able to understand this because not everything is meant to be understood. Nature recognizes natural over man-made. And so that's part of the reason why we want to be careful about what natural what natural things we're using. But this is why I advocate for including them on a regular basis. And the reason I even bring up the mental and emotional in this case, I've been doing it pretty much, I think, with every oil, but specifically with this one is because Spanish marjoram has a direct influence on the hypothalamus. And so it really helps to, and that's where I've used it a lot. It's great for the, if you're using it for chakra work, it's great for the third eye, but it's also really superb for helping to regulate hypothalamus activity, which is necessary when it comes to the stress response because it's the hypothalamus pituitary adrenal axis that is involved in the stress reaction. And so helping to kind of stabilize that and support a more stable flow. I hate to keep repeating the same word, but more stable flow of neurochemistry. So that's really how I've been using Marjoram Spanish. Now, it is a really great decongestant as well, especially for people who have a tendency, sleep apnea. I've actually used it for sleep apnea countless times, sinus issues, because it does open things up here quite rapidly. But primarily for the, and it's also, pardon me, digestion. I have myself used it for me on the digestive system, just like I said, on the outside of my stomach, just topically, because it does really help to relax and just kind of soothe the parasympathetic nervous system in that regard. And but it does deal directly with the hypothalamus, and I know for one myself can get easily cranked. So like I said, digestion, sinus, it is a really great decongestant, expectorant, and chakra work, beautiful third eye chakra work. And I prefer, as I'm thinking here, I'm thinking, right, because it works in the hypothalamus, I've included it. It's very sedative. It's very sedating. It's very sedative. It's very sedating. It has a sedative effect. So I typically will use it for people who have a hard time sleeping, falling asleep, not staying asleep, but actually falling asleep. If there's different types of insomnia, but those people who have a hard time falling asleep, it's really nice for that. So using it on for the digestive system, using it on the third eye for sleep, and just calming, just for calming that the stress mechanism. Sorry, I blanked out there for a minute. Don't mean to be doing that. I think because my head's racing because I want to make sure you guys get everything. And but it's really, I would say, I would really recommend it for sleep. If falling asleep is an issue, then the Spanish marjoram is your ticket. So that said, I hope you guys are doing well. I appreciate you. And I will be back tomorrow and day 8, and who knows what we're talking about. See ya.